Okay, and I'm back. Again, this is Kelly with IfYouHaveAnEgg.com. This is part 2 of chat number 178. We just finished talking about the fats of life. And in part 2, for our extra credit, we are going to, in part 2, we are going to be talking about activity monitoring. Activity monitoring, fitness tracking, yes, Barbara and Michelle, yep, it was time for water. So whatever you want to call it, that's what we're talking about in the second half. And all y'all are going to have to talk. And I even have a pen. I actually have a pen from, and I know it's backwards, but I have my first volunteer bank pen from my buddy Angie, who probably is not here because she's probably celebrating for Father's Day, but with the dads. But anyway, so I love these pens, Angie. Send more. So if you are watching this now or if you're watching this later, send more. We love these pens. We love the way they write. Okay, so I'm going to be taking notes because I'm serious about this. So let's start right here. I, year and a half ago or so, I guess, started looking at an Apple Watch. And at the time I had a Fitbit, and I do not remember what the original Fitbit model was that I had. I don't remember what the original model was that I had, but it was the cheap one where the little battery pack and the brain came out and you stuck them in a little holder and plugged it in, and that was how it charged. And it held a charge for like the better part of a day, maybe 2 days. I don't really remember, but you couldn't get it wet. You couldn't take it anywhere. You couldn't, whatever, but it was fine. It was absolutely fine. And then my mom wore just a cheap pedometer. I mean, I think she got it, I think her doctor's office or maybe Humana gave it to her for free years ago. And she wore that, religiously. Our leader, our fearless leader here in Knoxville, Gwen, she had a pedometer forever. And she's so funny because, and y'all can tell me what all that means in just a second. Because everybody's putting in what kind of fitness tracker that they have. But I'm gonna get y'all to explain that. So Gwen she had a pedometer for years, and she would clip it in her bra. Like, we would go to meetings and she would reach in her bra, unclip it and go, yeah, I've got, 11,000 steps for the day, or whatever. And then she would, take it back in her bra. Okay. Then I got a charge. I'm sorry, not a charge. I got a Fitbit. It was not a charge. That's what Karen got. And then I got, another one, and I loved it. I loved the way it looked. You could change the bands on it. I loved everything about it, but then it quit charging. And you would have to take the little charger, and it's been a couple of years ago, but you have to take the little charger and cram it on there. Well, we had an opportunity with Sprint when we upgraded to the phones that we have now. We had an opportunity to add an Apple Watch. And I thought, that seems really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and get an Apple Watch because we could put it on with our phones, and it was going to add some minuscule amount of money per month. Okay, so I've had my Apple Watch now. If we went back and looked at those chats, I've probably had the Apple Watch now, a year and a half maybe. It's over a year, but I've had it it's between a year and a half. Okay, so here's the thing. I do like the way it looks. I love having a bigger watch with a bigger face. Don't like this. I did nothing other than move my arm, and it's trying to track a workout. I'm not headed for a workout at all. It is a fabulous way to read text messages when I'm with customers. Most days I can get back into the loft. Most days, not every day. It seems to have a mind of its own and take itself off of cellular data at the worst time. I have had to put the fobs that we have to get in and out of our loft building. I have had to put a fob on Dusty's leash. So we had to buy an extra fob, and it is on Dusty's leash. It's actually, it's on the end of his leash, because that's when I get locked out. So every time I would get locked out of the loft, so you cannot get back in with a key. Some days you can't call anybody to let you in. So I had to put a fob on his leash because 100% of the times that I got locked out of our loft, it was because I did not have my fob with me and I didn't have a phone with me. And that would be the day that my Apple Watch would decide that it was going to do whatever, that it was going to have a mind of its own. Again, I do like how big the face is. I do like the fact that it's Apple. I do like the fact that it syncs up with my other things. I do like the fact that I can use wireless headphones and use this. It infuriates me. It infuriates me that it learns your exercise patterns. And I understand that it is trying to encourage you to do more, but there are days that I can't do that. And it is super, super frustrating to me to, to have a day where I've gotten, 8, 9, sometimes even 10,000 steps, and I don't get to close. And if I don't get to close, let me see if I can get it to even come on. And if I don't get to close or ring, which I did today because Karen and I walked so far, but it infuriates me if I can't close a ring because it thinks that I didn't exercise enough. That was one thing that I really, really liked with my Fitbit, was I could say how many steps that I was going to celebrate, over, not the watch deciding. So, I don't know. I'm really starting to question my choice of fitness devices. I'm not a runner. I am not I don't do a lot of, let's just say high-tech workouts. I'm not a runner. I don't jog. I'm not a swimmer. I love to swim, but I'm not swimming for, that's not my form of exercise. I'm not doing jazzercise. I'm not doing weightlifting. I just need to know how many steps I walk. That's really all I need to know. The Apple Watch has been good for a lot of other things, but I'm really starting to question if it is the fitness device for me. So I have my First Volunteer Bank pen. Thank you, Angie, again. I have this because we love to write with these. They write so good. So I have this, and I'm going to take some notes because I need your help. And I know there's a lot of other people out there that need some help as well. So I need to know, show of hands, and if you're watching this later, I'm still taking votes. So I still want to see some votes before I decide, because I'm not checking this. I love it. And yes, Lacey is exactly right. Lacey said, I noticed that you have to work harder to close the circles on an Apple Watch over the Fitbit. You do, and it infuriates me. Oh, let me just say, and I'm sorry, this isn't Kelly's soapbox day because normally I don't just sit here and complain. But let me tell you what I think it has caused for me. So when I just had the Fitbit, I was walking twice a day, every day. Not every day, not on Tuesdays. Every day but Tuesday, I was walking twice a day. And if I didn't have all of my steps, and all of my steps didn't mean 12 or 15,000. I had it set for a long time I had it set at 10. And then when my parents got sick, I backed it up to 8 because I knew I could still get 8 every day. And there were days that when I didn't, if I was at 7,500, you can ask John if he's still awake in there. But you can ask John, there would be days that I would go, oh, I've only got 500 steps left. And I would either go walk up and down the hall, or I would take Dusty one more lap, around the block or something. That doesn't happen with this. I don't feel rewarded. I don't feel excited. I loved, now I do love, Janet just said I swim with mine on and I love it. I do love the fact that I can get it wet. I do love the fact that I don't have to worry about it. I do love the fact that, that I can sync it, with some other things, but I'm not getting that same, I personally am not getting that same motivation from the Apple Watch that I did from the Fitbit. I loved all the Fitbit challenges and I miss those. I miss talking to y'all, and doing the challenges, and saying, oh my gosh, so-and-so's, 1,300 steps ahead of me. I've got a lap target 6 more times, I miss all that. And I think that has, has helped. I think that has, helped lead to my not walking as much, because where I was walking twice a day, every day except for Tuesday, now, I walk with Karen on Monday, and then I don't walk Monday night. I walk with Karen on Sunday. I'm not walking again second time on Sunday. If we walk on, Thursday, whatever, but I've really gotten out of the habit, and my waistline is showing it, my feet are showing it, so I just need to get that motivation back. And Trish wants to know, does Apple have a health app on it? Yes, it does. If so, like Samsung, you can track your steps and record in the WW app. It automatically records it on the WW app. I'm telling you, I personally am not getting the mental satisfaction of the fireworks going off, of the of us, telling me, you've just got got 1,000 steps left. You've got 500 steps left. So here's what I need to know. Okay, so Janet just said you can put challenges on your Apple Watch. Okay, is it the same? Is it the same as the challenges on the Fitbit? So the first thing I need to know, because we've only got about 17 minutes to talk about this. First thing I need to know, show of hands, or give me some thumbs ups or whatever. Where are my Apple Watch people? So who has an Apple Watch? Just give me a shout out. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, or if you're watching it on IfYouHaveAnEgg.com, you'll just have to comment. But who has an Apple Watch? So I do. But who has an Apple Watch? Let me know. Okay, Janet's got an Apple Watch. Lacey has an Apple Watch. Sandra does. Okay, so for my Apple Watch, and Linda, so for my Apple Watch people, what do you like, and Pam does, what do you like best about your Apple Watch? So I need to know, what are your favorite things about the Apple Watch? And I'll take about 5 of those. Tatters, I'll get to you in a second. I'm doing Apple Watch first. First is just Apple Watch. So, because I was going to ask what... Okay, so Janet, you can challenge your family and your friends and family, and it's fun. Okay, so you're going to have to explain that to me. So Janet says challenges. So she likes the challenges. Okay. Trish says, I know they say they're waterproof. 3 of us all about time, and yes, they all died a little over a year. She said they all died a little over a year ago. Tedders, you'll just have to wait patiently. Okay, Pam says she can't carry a phone to the hospital, so it keeps her from missing calls. Okay, I will agree with you on that. I will 100% agree with you on that. Pam, it is awesome. It is awesome if I'm with a customer in the showroom and I need to glance, see, like right now. Okay, so my Sunday school teacher just texted me that they're praying. Okay, so y'all didn't even know, unless you knew that I had on an Apple Watch, that I just got a message. So I didn't have to get my phone, didn't have to do anything else. So I agree with Pam. I do love the fact that you can get, so Pam loves it because she can't carry a phone at work. Yeah, Lacey loves to be able to see the messages without having to open your phone. Let's see. Lacey's only had hers for a few days, so she's taking notes too. That is perfectly fine. You can take notes too. Lacey loves being, okay, so Lacey does like to be able to see the notes, and Pam says it's great for things like that. Okay, so... Okay, Linda says because it tells her when to stand. Okay, now, where are my Fitbit people? Tedders, now, Tedders, now raise your hand. Okay, where are my Fitbit people? So raise your hands. Raise your hand, Fitbit people. And when you raise your hand, I need you to tell me which kind you have. Okay, so Alicia says a Fitbit Versa 2. For Alicia, it encourages your work and it's set for challenges. And Michelle says her Versa 2 lets her see her messages. Okay. Evie has a Fitbit Charge 2 and she likes it very much. Okay, why Evie? And Sandy, what do you like about it? Michelle's got one, Letitia's got one, Irma, Trish, Sandra likes it because it tells her to get up and move. Okay. Oh, look, there's Tedders. Me. Okay, Tedders, what do you like about it? Which kind do you have and what do you like about it? And Janice, I can't tell what... Oh, that's a little face, a little... That is so tiny. That little emoji thing is so tiny. Okay, Sandy, Ionic. Is that a kind of a Fitbit? Ionic? I've never heard of that. So what's different about the Ionic? And Janice has a Fitbit Charge 2. So does that have the bigger face? Irma's got an Alta. Cora says she can get text and it tells her when to move more. Okay. Marlene has a Garmin. Okay, so we'll come back to Garmin. Janet says you add your family and friends to your activity on your phone. Oh, okay, that's to go back to the Apple Watch. Marianne likes the fact that she can get all of her steps, get messages, tells her who is calling. She can set an alarm. So that's with the Fitbit. Which kind, Marianne, is that a Fitbit, and what kind is it? What kind is it? And Sandy says yes, it is a My Iconic. Tedders likes it because she can get her text messages and it tracks her hourly steps. Oh yeah, I remember that. It did. It told you. I forgot about that. If you didn't get a certain number of steps per hour, I forgot about that. Okay, Barbara has a Fitbit Versa 2, and she likes it because she can do challenges and see her text messages, and it tells her to move. Betty wants to know, what is the difference between a Versa 1 and a Versa 2? Who can tell us the difference between the two of those? Is there anybody that can tell us the difference between a Versa 1 and a Versa 2? And Evie says challenges and it sets to make her move every hour. Sandy says text messages and challenges. Cora says her Versa does that. Kimberly says a Fitbit Charge 3. Marianne says a Fitbit Charge 3. Michelle says mine tells me to get 250 steps per hour. I forgot about that. It does do that. I remember that now. And you get buzzed if you don't do it. Tedders loves the alarm feature. Trish says Fitbit 3 was her last one and it didn't last long. She did go into the water and she's using her Flex 2 again. I don't know what that is, so we'll talk about that in just a second. Sandra has a Fitbit light purple something. And Barbara's is a Versa 2 light. And it does it too. Okay, so we'll come back around to the Fitbits in just a second, but can anybody tell us what the difference between a Versa 1 and a Versa 2? Does anybody know what the difference is? Oh, Alicia says a Versa 1 and a Versa 2 have different features. The Versa 2 is styled like the Apple Watch. Ooh, okay. So the Versa 2 is styled like an Apple Watch. And Sandy loves her Ionic. Elaine says the Fitbit 2 doesn't really count steps when you can use it as a card at the store. Oh, when you use a card at the store. So Elaine, what I used to do, and you might think I'm crazy, but I do this with my Apple Watch too sometimes, which, it has to be supposed to be on your arm, but on the Fitbit, I used to tie it to my shoe. So if I had on shoes with laces or with Velcro, I would put the Fitbit on my shoe when I was at the store so that it would still keep up with the steps. Okay, and quick question. Do any of them stay charged like the whole day? Like, do any of them stay charged for the whole day? And apparently Alicia does that too, yeah. So are there any of those that stay charged for the entire day or longer than a day? Like, I would charge mine every night because I wasn't using it to wake me up in the mornings. But, I wasn't using it as an alarm. But yeah. And there were days that the only thing you had to be careful with on the Fitbit, because it was so sensitive, the last one that I had, it was so sensitive and I would wear it on my right hand, even though I told it that it was on my dominant hand. If we were at a parade or something and I was waving, all of a sudden I would get, my fireworks would be going off, and it would be because, good night, Lynn, but my fireworks would be going off, but it would be because I was waving my hand, Okay, and Sandy says usually 3 to 4 days. Letitia says her Versa stays charged for 4 days. Wow. Michelle says her stays charged for 3 to 4 days. And Kathy wants to know if anybody has tried Pacer. So I will write Pacer down too so we can come back and visit that. Okay, so, wow, that's awesome. Okay, Garmin. So who has a Garmin? Where are my Garmin girls? We're guys. I don't think we have any guys here tonight, but where are my Garmin girls? So just give me a shout out. Just raise your hand. Let me know. So who has a Garmin? And Lacey, the Apple Watch, I have to charge it every single night. Oh, good point. Trish says the more active you are, the more you'll have to charge it. Okay, and Teresa is doing this. Oh, and Carol Lou has an Aura ring. Okay, so Teresa has a Garmin. Marlene has a Garmin. Thanks, Tedders. It's because I refused when I had the Fitbit to do anything. I wouldn't move unless I was getting my steps. And Teresa has a Garmin Forerunner 245. Okay, so Teresa, you are a runner, correct? So you are a runner, and is that the main reason that you charge the Garmin? Hello, Debbie. Oh no, Orlando Debbie's been out in the heat with her neighbors. Yeah, I finally have cooled off. I mean, finally, but I turned the air way down. Okay, Haley has one. Marlene says the Garmin is relatively inexpensive. Okay. So what other reasons do you all like it? Betty wants to know if they keep up with your sleep pattern also. And Caroline has a Samsung. I had not heard of a Samsung. So Caroline, tell us more about that. Marlene says hers stays charged for a week. Is that a Garmin? Haley says Garmin, but it's so old that she uses her Samsung now. So you'll have to tell me about the Samsung in a second. Kathy is only walking, but she thinks that which one? You had the Pacer, is that right? Trish has Fitbit 3 did, and the 4 did too. Yeah. So Teresa, you are a runner, and so does having the Garmin make a big difference with your running? Because I mean, like, you're a runner, like a real runner. Bye, Alicia. Okay, Teresa says it does everything. VO2, which is oxygen level, right? Sleep, pulse, and it stays charged for 7 days plus. So, is that so, Teresa? Do you think that would be good for someone who's just walking, or do you think that's more of a running? Do you think that's more of a running thing? And Trish says the Samsung is like an Apple. You can do calls and texts. Caroline loves having the calendar on, which one are you talking about, Caroline? Is that the Samsung? And Haley says her Garmin was very accurate on the steps, but it did not track sleeping. So have y'all had any problems with any of these not being accurate on tracking your steps? Tedders does like the fact that her Versa also tracks her sleep patterns, and it's great for her sleep issues. Orlando Debbie says the Garmin has a GPS feature in it also. So Debbie, tell me what you use the GPS feature for? So what have you been using that feature for? And Jenna says her Fitbit Charge 2 does the sleep patterns. Teresa says yes, it has a virtual trainer, and it is 2. Okay, so this is what I wanted to hear. Okay, so Teresa, thank you. First of all, thank you for being so honest about this. That's what I thought. Teresa said so Teresa is a real runner, and I'm not kidding. If you go look at her page or anything, she's an actual runner. Like, I would just have to stand on the side and cheer her on. There's no way I would run as much. I'm so proud and impressed with her, but there's no way that I would run that much. So Teresa said that yes, the Garmin, it has a virtual trainer, and it's too technical for somebody who's just walking, which would be me. So the Garmin might be perfect if one of you all is running now, if one of you all is doing something more technical, you might want that. And she said it is too expensive for just walking. So, but if you were getting into running, I know Teresa has loved her Garmin. I mean, like, it has been, I think, critical to her, to her running. But I'm just saying, she's just a real runner. Debbie also runs in marathons. So she's been really, really active. Are they going to do the marathons down at Disney this year, Debbie? I didn't even think about that. But Debbie, so what are you using? What do you use when you run, Debbie? So I don't think we've ever talked about that, which is so weird because we've talked about a lot of stuff, but I don't think we've talked about what you use when you're running. And hello, Kim. Oh, Kim's in Pigeon Forge. Awesome. You should come by. Kim, I will not be here tomorrow, but you should come by the showroom on Tuesday. I can't touch you. I can't hug you. We have to wear masks, but that would be, but still, I would love to see you. And Trish said something was on sale at Costco today for $249. Oh, but it ended early. What? Yep. And Karen has a Versa. So Karen, I can't remember. Can you swatch out the bands on your Versa? But I know she's been really happy. She's been really happy with hers. And I'm just thinking I need to be a Fitbit girl. But real quick, before we run out of time, who has a Pacer, an Aura, or something else? And Debbie does use her Fitbit for running. So a Pacer, an Aura, or something else. So who has something else? Who has something besides? Okay, so MJ has the Samsung Active, and she can change the way the face looks, and there's more, but I'll have to go back and look at that. Oh man, Debbie she doesn't run anymore due to her knees, but she just walks really fast. Okay, I'm sorry, I still consider that racing. You're still racing. I still consider that running, because I would be like so far behind you. But who has a Pacer, an Aura, or something else? So Carol, tell us real quick about the Aura ring. What is that? I've never even heard of that. I know you've told me like 5 times probably that you have one, but what is an Aura ring? It's Oura. So for those of you that are watching later, instead of that you're just watching this later, instead of seeing the messages actually come up, Carol is talking about an Oura ring, an Aura ring. And I don't know what that is, but you talk about it all the time. So just tell us really quickly about that. Haley has the Samsung Active. So the Samsungs, is that like, so those are like an Apple Watch. It's just the Samsung version of it, correct? So it's similar, it has all the same similar features, but it's like having Apple versus Android, I gather. And look, Debbie, I have on my Mickey shirt. Oh, and Kim might try to come by on Tuesday. It's 5902 Kingston Pike, and we're in the little church, and I will be here Tuesday. I can't touch you, sorry. I'm a big hugger. I'm normally a hugger. I'll give you an air hug. But but I can't hug you, sorry. And we have to wear a mask, but I'll get far away from you and take my mask off so I can say hi if you come by. Okay, Carol Lou says it is complete body monitoring. Ooh, it measures everything and lets you know your readiness for the day. Hold on. At the risk of messing this up, Carol says that the Aura ring, and it's Oura, is a complete body monitoring device, and it measures everything and lets you know your readiness for the day and what you need to improve. What? That's crazy. That is crazy. That is so cool, but that is crazy. And, oh, thank you, Barbara, is my t-shirt. And Jeannie says she did 2,040 miles last year and went through 3 Ionic Fitbits. What? Because they can't handle the wet and sweat. Why did you keep getting more, or were they just sending you more of them? Okay, we're going to have to start winding down here because it is, oh gosh, it's 1 till 9. It's 1 till 9 here. And I need to get home and check on John's mom. Orlando Debbie says she uses the Inspire HR Fitbit because it is slim and does all she needs, and she can switch out the bands. Okay, so Jeannie, I'm very interested in knowing more about why you wore out 3 Ionic Fitbits. And Carol says the Aura ring counts steps, body temperature, heart rate, extensive sleep patterns, oxygen levels. That's pretty cool. Okay, so I will let you all know what I decide. I'm not getting rid of my Apple Watch because we've already paid for it, but I do like the fact that that I can get my messages. I do like the fact that occasionally I can get back into the building because it will ring, like a phone. I'm really perturbed with it because of it's not reliable. It's not reliable in when it will and won't pick up the phone, which really upsets me. But anyway, okay, so I will let you all know what I decide. I'll keep researching them. Please do keep commenting. So if you're here on the Facebook page, keep commenting. You can still comment even though we're not going to be live here in a few minutes. You can still comment on it when Jessica and Casey get this posted. So Casey will post tomorrow, as long as everything's okay with her grandma. She will post this tomorrow on YouTube, and it's just youtube.com. Search If You Have an Egg. Please comment there if you want to give me some more suggestions, or if you think there's one that I should lean towards, or another. And remember, I'll mostly walk. I do, when we can get back over to Planet Fitness, I'll do some of that. But that's what I'll be using it mostly for. I already have the Apple Watch, so I may or may not be using it, for answering the phone and things like that. But I would love to get some more suggestions. I know there's a lot of other people on here that are trying to figure out what to get or what to use, or if they've made the right decision, So please keep commenting. And Trish says I should call the Apple company and complain about my, give them my concerns. So yeah, let's just say I didn't call, but anyway, yeah, they kept telling me it was user error. So anyway, so yeah, so keep commenting. If you're on YouTube, just youtube.com, search If You Have an Egg. You know, keep commenting. They'll have that. So Casey will have the YouTube up tomorrow. And then, let's see, Casey will have the YouTube up tomorrow. Jessica should have the actual chat with the notes, and it'll have some of these notes. Now, Jessica will not have every single one of these notes that I read off about the fitness devices, but anyway, so she will have most of that up and kind of a general idea, you know, about that. She'll have that, you know, for you by sometime on Tuesday. But y'all keep commenting because I would love to know, because I'm seriously trying to decide, you know, what I want to do. But y'all have a great evening. Thank you so much for being here. Again, happy Father's Day, and we will see you all next week. So see you next week, and I'll let you know what I figured out. Good night.